Hello, I'm Mary Yanez, Director of the Senior Adult Program, and welcome to our show. We have mature living, and we have a guest that is not a stranger to our show here at Community College, Stephanie Townsend Allala. Thank you for being with us, Stephanie. I want to introduce you and give you the title. You have so many roles that you play in elder law, but I do want to tell everyone that you're the president and CEO of the Townsend Allala, Coulter, and Kludt. You're the director also of the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys in Texas. So those are pretty fancy titles. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because I kind of always want to introduce our guests and get people to get to know you and your beginnings. Because I remember watching you on Channel 4 many years ago. Thank
you so much for that. Oh, you're so kind, Mary. Thank you for saying that. And I just want to say how, congratulations to you on 30 years of Mature Living, the longest running local El Paso TV show. So thank you for everything. And I remember you as a journalist. I remember you being on the forefront of elder issues and being out there in the community and helping the elderly. So I wanted to say congratulations to you. And I'm so happy to be here on the year of your 30th anniversary. And yes, I was not born in El Paso, but I got here as quick as I could. I like to say I swam upriver because I was born in Brownsville. So I just swam upriver and ran out of water here, so I had to stay. And but that was a long 40 years ago. I worked at Channel 4 when I first got here. Then I worked at Channel 7 as a news anchor and reporter. Then I went to the El Paso Times, then back to KVIA, and then to law school. In fact, recently my adult baby daughter, my youngest daughter, I quit TV when she was 3. And so she said, "Mom, I had no idea you had your own television show. I didn't know you had a talk show." And I was like, I guess that's true. You were a baby when I quit. So, but yes, thank you so much for that. And it's so great now to have made the switch from journalism to law school to lawyering, and then really to becoming an advocate for the elderly. I'm the luckiest lawyer in the world because I don't have to fight with anybody. All I do is help good people and advocate for good people trying to work their way through the legal system. And so that's really a joy, and representing them on the Texas Academy of Elder Law Attorneys is really fun and exciting addition to my job as a lawyer who helps people in guardianships, people who are suffering, people who have disabilities. And so it's just a really great transition.
Very good. We've been going through some changes, as you can imagine, since 2020 was a pretty bad year. Well, a good part of the year. And so in your profession as an elder law lawyer, how have the changes impacted? How has COVID impacted everyone, especially the seniors?
It was about this time last year that we started hearing about COVID, just a little bit earlier. And then I was watching as my clients on walkers and in wheelchairs were coming to my office, and I was hearing about this illness that was affecting the elderly. And I just thought, this is irresponsible. I can't be having my clients coming here and exposing themselves possibly. So we started doing things by phone and by video, which is really difficult for the elderly. A lot of my elderly clients don't have access to the computer and the internet, and then they're hard of hearing, so it's really difficult. We've had to do the signing ceremonies where somebody's in a nursing home and we're outside working through the window and handing the documents and then getting them signed. And because this is a time when people really need to have their estate planning done, and they need to people are thinking about their mortality more now. And so, there's always people who are impacted negatively and more in a different ways because our business has increased. We've had to figure out ways of getting people to have signing ceremonies. Now that all of my staff and I are fully vaccinated, we are now inviting those who are also fully vaccinated into our office to meet and have signing ceremonies. And it's not like we have some vaccine passport requirement. We're going on your word. If you tell me you're vaccinated, I accept that. And but I believe that to be a thoughtful, caring, compassionate human being, we have to take care of others around us. And so, unfortunately, some issues became politicized, but I think that for the most part, people in El Paso are smart and compassionate, and they worry about others. And
Yes.
so I think, you see a lot of mask wearing in our community. A lot of people signed up to get their vaccines, and that just makes me have a lot of hope for the future.
Yes,
But of
and
course,
I wanted to ask you something because you work with the elders, and so do we. That is our mission, and that is our purpose to work with the elderly. And in thinking about those things as far as protecting the most vulnerable, and weren't they the ones that were dying in higher numbers? The Latino, the elders, the people of color, and so you were more cognizant about what can we do to help them to make sure they have their papers in order, because it is devastating when someone passes with no prior knowledge of when it's going to happen, and it happens suddenly. Families find themselves in horrific conditions. And I also wanted to ask you about wills and powers of attorney.
Absolutely. You're so correct, Mary. And it's absolutely vital that we all have that in place, because if you don't have your legal documents, like a power of attorney and your will in place, and you become ill, unable to pay your bills, and it's happened to a lot of people. I'm getting phone calls day after day, hour after hour of a family member who herself has COVID because she was caring for her mother who had COVID, who died of it. And then, other family members have it. And so there's a lot of suffering going on. We just have to be aware of the suffering that people are going through. And I mean, I have day after day, hour after hour of people just in tears in these phone conferences or Zoom meetings, or even in person I'm having with clients now who are vaccinated, and they just cannot believe the overwhelming pain, and that so their mom didn't have a will, they don't have a power of attorney, they're facing possible death. So it's really important, people, think about your life as a business. Every good business has an exit strategy. I'm all about helping you with your exit strategy. How are you going to get out of this world with leaving as little mess of it possible? And it's the people who don't plan who actually make us work a lot harder, and makes lawyers have to charge more. So yeah, it's really important to get it done now.
Very good, very good. One of the things that we're doing through the Senior Adult Program is we're trying to teach online as well. So seniors are struggling to learn quickly how to take classes online. And one of the classes that we provide is the planning for the future, and you've been a guest in that in that class with Grace Ortiz, one of our instructors. So you and I are really connected with the college and how we're helping our elders, our beautiful elders, and that's a priority for all of us. So tell me a little bit about the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program. That's always a question that's very confusing.
You're so absolutely correct about that. I have people who have said they were considering suicide because of the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program. That program has caused more tragedy, and even people who were not at risk of losing their home, because the state feels like they benefit from confusion. Because if they send you a bill, if Medicaid pays for the nursing home of your loved one, and then they send you a bill after your loved one dies, a lot of people just pay their bills. They don't ever question whether they're supposed to or not. And so the state sends this bill out to everybody who got Medicaid, even though not everybody has to pay it back. And it's very confusing. I have people who, when I tell them that the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program in Texas is 100% avoidable, it's 100% avoidable. And when I tell them, they break out in tears and sobbing, because they thought they were losing their home that 3 generations are living in, and maybe they're running a small business from. And so the thought of an 86-year-old person, who's thinking about losing this home, or just suffering in misery. And so the suffering oftentimes prevails, unfortunately, because of a lack of awareness, and the state, again, benefits from that lack of awareness. But I'm out here trying to get the word out, trying to educate people and let them know that, none of my clients have ever lost a home to the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program, and they don't have to because of the way it currently is formulated in Texas.
And so, I believe it's also called the Ladybird, the Ladybird Law.
Well, Ladybird deeds are a real important part of it, but it's not just those. There's something else called a transfer on death deed and a Ladybird deed. Those are the most important weapons we have in our toolbox to help us to save your home. Yeah. So the Ladybird deed, transfer on death deed, what those do is it's like a beneficiary designation on your house. You know how everybody has a beneficiary designation on their bank account or life insurance? This is just putting one on your house. It doesn't go to that person yet. You get to keep it. It doesn't affect your Medicaid benefits, and it doesn't have any impact on that. And then the minute you die, automatically all of your interest in your home passes to whomever you've named on that deed. And
well,
so,
you know what? I do want to ask you one last question, because we may run out of time here, and I want to make sure that we give your phone number and all the information. But one recent news that we've gotten is the FEMA funds that are available for people to pay for funerals.
I'm so glad you asked. FEMA is paying for up to $9,000 to people who had to bury a loved one who died from COVID. We know more than 2,500 El Paso families are in that position. They had to pay for those funerals. So we want to make sure that those 2,500 families know that FEMA will pay. The numbers to call for the FEMA line for the funeral assistance is 844-684-6333. That's 844-684-6333.
And these are all COVID-related funeral costs by COVID. Very
correct.
Good.
But it's not keeping their loved one back, but maybe it'll help just a little bit with all the pain and suffering they're going through.
That's right. I want you to introduce again your partners in your firm, in your law firm, the Townsend Allala law firm, and reintroduce them, give your phone number, how they can get a hold of you, where your office is at, please, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. Townsend Allala, Coulter, and Kludt is me, Jennifer Coulter, and my daughter, Jessica Kludt. And we are at, go to www.elpasoelderlaw.com or just call 915-533-0007. Happy to help you in any way, any needs you have. And we're always here just to discuss things. A lot of people make appointments with me, not to hire me, but just to talk about things. You don't have to hire a lawyer just because you spend an hour talking to them. Sometimes that's all you need is that time.
That's right. And is there any last message that you want to leave us with in this interview? We loved having you again, because I know this is not enough time to cover all of the picking of your brain, all the knowledge that you have about elder law issues. We're planning for a conference, virtual conference with the FBI on fraud and scams. And so we're working on that for possibly in the latter part of the summer.
My message is, do accept your Medicaid benefits. Don't worry about losing your home. The state makes you sign that paper saying they'll steal your home after you die, but don't worry about it. You're not going to lose your home if you talk to a lawyer, get some good advice, get the Medicaid benefits you need. Please accept the Medicaid benefits out there. We'll help you save your home.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being with us, and have a great day, a great week.
Thank you, Mary. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, thank you. We'll be back with more guests in just a minute. Well, thank you for staying with us here on Mature Living. We have another very interesting guest, and not a stranger to Mature Living, and you'll recognize her. She's one of our instructors that teaches with our senior adult program. She's a dance instructor, and she teaches line dance, ballroom dance. She teaches the Latin dance. So her students love her. We love her. She's been with the program for quite a few years. So I want you to meet her, and maybe we'll encourage you to take a dance a dance class online. Thank you for being with us, Patricia Laskowske. We call her Trish. Trish Laskowske, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Good morning, Mary. I'm well, thank you.
I want people to get to know you again. And I guess one of my first questions is, you've been with the program quite a long time. Tell us how you discovered this program and what you were doing as a dancer.
Well, I discovered the program. Well, first of all, I've been with the college for 32 years. This coming fall will be 33 years.
Woo-hoo!
So I started with the college when I was in my 20s, very young. And I actually found out about the college through a man who took dance lessons from me. And that was Abel Uranga. I don't know if you remember. Yes, you remember Abel Uranga was with the college for many years.
Yes, he was a counselor. He was a counselor with us, yeah.
And he took private dance lessons from me. I taught at an independent studio here in El Paso. And he took lessons and he says, you know, you would be great to join our team over at the community college. And he invited me to come on board. And at the time, he introduced me to, I think her name was Mrs. Valladolid. Is that right?
Rosemary Valladolid. Uh-huh.
So that was a long time ago. And so that's how I started with the college.
Oh, how super. Well, I'm glad you're still with us because your students love you. They never graduate from dance because you always teach them something new.
Right.
Tell me, are you teaching online right now? We've gone through a lot through the COVID. You had many classes, multiple students in person, which is how the people prefer to hold each other, you know, in dance or, you know, especially with Latin dance and ballroom dance. But now we can't do that. So we started with online with the line dancing. How is that going for you? I know you had to learn how to do it. It was scary, wasn't it?
Yes, it was scary and it is different. I teach from my home, so I had to transform, well, my husband, my brother, and I transformed our dining room into my new little dance studio. And so I teach 2 classes right now. I teach intermediate line dance and advanced line dance. So I went from teaching approximately, I think I had 7 classes at one time, to only teaching 2 for now. And it's gone well. So far, so good.
That's good. And your students, how did they learn how to adapt and you know, adapt to the to being in front of a monitor, a computer? What discussions do you have in your classes with your students about?
You know, they like getting together. They like the fact that they see their friends on the monitor. However, they want to be in person now. They want to be with their friends and they want to get out, go to the senior centers, recreation centers. I know that for now, it's probably not possible yet, but they're really looking forward to going back to in-person classes. They have made new friends online. They see each other, you know, over the past 12 weeks. We're almost done with the semester, but they've gotten to know each other on screen and they talk to each other and they'll say, hey, how did your appointment go? How's your little dog? How's, you know, they get to know each other. So it's nice, but they want to meet in person.
Yes, absolutely. That's a priority for them because this program helps seniors with their being sociable and being connected to other people, not being isolated. And isn't that the most wonderful thing, that gift that you give is to give them, and what we do through the college is to give them a place to join and give them a better quality of life. And so I'm just wondering, you know, did you lose some students that didn't know or were afraid to use technology?
Yes, absolutely. And that was very, it was frustrating to me because I wanted them to be able to join the class. However, and you know, I know that they could have done it, but they they are afraid of technology. And I can understand that, because it was very daunting to me as well, because I'm not what you would call tech savvy. And so many of them did not take the course this semester. I'm hoping that in the summer they'll come back on. As a matter of fact, I was thinking today, I need to get a hold of those students who originally wanted to be in the class, but who couldn't figure out the technology end of it. So I'm hoping that by now they will have gotten some help, maybe from their grandkids, a neighbor,
Yes. Yes.
because their grandkids know all about technology. So I know that they could help them get online and get set up. I'm hoping that will be the case.
And I'm thinking at near the end of the semester, which we're kind of there, it would be okay for you to invite some of these prospective students to come in as a guest with their email, just to try it out, so that they can be ready to register for the summer. And hopefully by next fall, maybe we can go back in person, especially with the dance classes.
I hope so.
I don't think this is the end of it, because for those people that are homebound, Trish, to have at least one dance class online, it would be very helpful, because they're isolated. They can't drive. Maybe some seniors don't drive, and they would love to have a class and meet the students online virtually. So what do you think if we keep one class online, and then we all go back, those that can get to the classes?
Yeah, and I know that we have talked about hybrid classes, having some online and some in person, and that would be great. I would be more than willing to do that for people who can't get out. So I'd be willing to do an online class. And then
thank you so much. I'm really getting you committed in front of everybody that's watching the show today. Sorry about that. I kind of throw those little curves every once in a while. So what are your students learning in the line dance class right now?
Well, I have two classes. I have the intermediate class and the advanced class. So I really thought that they were going to want to learn new dances. However, they wanted to go back to what they had been learning right around the time that we closed down. They wanted to continue to work on what they were doing when the lockdown happened. So we're doing, which is fine with me. So we're doing a lot of, like bossa nova, let's see, Copperhead Road, Cupid Shuffle, a lot of the old standards, in other words, a lot of their favorites. And the same thing happened in the advanced line dance class. I thought that I was going to be able to introduce a lot of new material, but they wanted to work on what they had known before. And
a refresher course.
And they have reinforced what they learned in the past, which is fine. They're doing very well.
I'm curious about the setups in the homes. How do you tell them about safety? How to clear up a space so that they won't be stumbling over furniture or things, or carpets. Or tell me how you help them to set up and be safe at home and do a line dance practice in class.
Yeah, I suggest to them that they dance somewhere where they have tile. I have some of my students set up their camera in their kitchen or in their dining room, which is fine. That's just fine. As long as they're somewhere safe, comfortable, where they can have plenty of space. I'll notice that in their homes, they're probably in a bedroom. And I'll say to them, "Are you dancing on carpet?" And they'll say, "Yes." And then I'll suggest to them that they not do that, because their shoe can get stuck, or they might trip or fall over or something. So I'll suggest to them that they set up their camera somewhere safe, even if it's in the kitchen or a dining room or somewhere where they have more space and they're not around a rug or carpet. That is very important. No chairs, nothing like that.
Very good. Just kind of make it very clear and safe. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Also, I know you love teaching the seniors. And I know you've taught children, you've taught young adults, but what is it about teaching seniors? What do you like about teaching seniors? What is it so special about the senior adult program and our students?
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up because I am attracted, so to speak, to the senior population. I know that that's my gift. I enjoy working with the older population. I think that they have a different mindset. They have experiences that I can learn from. They enjoy life. They can tell me what they've been through, how to get through it. I just enjoy it very much. I learn from them. I really do learn from my students, and I love what I do. This is what I was born to do. I always tell my students that this is what I was born to do.
Oh, wow. And I know that I know your mom, and we lost her this year, not to COVID, but that was a great loss. And so you had to take a little break. And I loved her myself because she attended all of our senior adult program events. She was front row. She was the one that would save me a chair when I'd have the mic and I'd be hosting, an event. She was the one that would take care of my program. And, I just loved her so much, and we miss her. I know that this is kind of hard, but we wanted to tell you we're with you, and you keep going and you keep growing, because that's what our elders want us, our mothers and our family members want us to do. So thank you for being with us. I want you to share anything you want about teaching seniors, or maybe giving some advice to those that are watching that are just not doing anything, maybe just watching television.
Yeah, I want to encourage them to come online with us. It's not hard to do once you get the hang of it. We'd love to have you come. Please stay active. It's so important to stay active physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way. Stay active and stay well.
We also want to give a phone number where they can get a hold of us about all of our classes that we're offering online in the summer. And registration will start the first Monday of May, and it'll run through the whole month. And the classes start in June. So we want to tell everybody, we're going to give our phone number. It's 915-831-7801. We also want to give our email. And that's really important because that's how they begin to start using their computer to connect with us. It is SAP, and that stands for Senior Adult Program, SAP@EPCC.edu. Thank you so much for being with us. And we love you, and because we love Virginia, your mom, and she's watching over us. And just like everybody that is watching us has someone special that they've lost, and we want to make sure that we connect with them. Come and join us with our classes. You're going to love meeting other students and sharing with each other and supporting each other, just like in Trish's class. Thank you, Trish. Okay, well, that's it for us today. Thank you for joining us on Mature Living. We'll probably see you next week with more interesting guests and great conversations. See you next week.